This is your Wall Street wake-up call. The markets are reacting to last night's first presidential debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Here with more is Craig Erlam, a senior market analyst at brokerage firm Oanda. So Craig, we're seeing stock futures inch higher this morning, perhaps indicative of a Clinton win in last night's debate. Is that what you're analyzing?
Yeah, I think people are a bit more optimistic, I guess. We've got to remember this is just one debate. There'll be many more, and there's also around 6 weeks to go before the election itself, and we all know how quickly things can change with these things. So I don't think the markets are necessarily getting carried away, but we are seeing a little bit more optimism. I think it's quite clear among everyone that Clinton did edge this particular debate, which, like you say, is generally seen as being positive for the markets. There are a number of factors at play with the markets right now, this being one of them, which, so like I say, helping to support it. I think one of the most interesting areas that we're actually seeing the reaction, though, is in the Mexican peso. I think most people will be in agreement that this is probably one of the riskiest areas for the markets when it comes to the election, because of what Donald Trump is suggesting to do with regards to the trade agreement, building a wall, and so on and so forth. So the fact that we're seeing the peso 1.5% higher today is very indicative of the fact that people saw this as a victory for Clinton.
Although perhaps if we see Trump gain some momentum perhaps after the next debate, or should some other event happen in the next 6 weeks that helps Trump, do we see the markets sort of pull back a little bit?
Sure. We've seen already from the polls over the last 6 weeks or so, this has been a bit of a wild ride. We've seen Clinton having 10-point leads. We've seen Trump nip into the lead. Now it looks like Clinton has a small marginal lead over Trump. This is not over yet. This is going to be a long ride. It's going to be quite volatile, and I'm sure Donald Trump will take the lead again on many occasions again. And if he does, then we are going to see that response in the markets. I think it's quite clear now that a Trump victory is seen as negative for market sentiment, and the Clinton victory, which is effectively a continuation of the status quo, is seen as positive.
All right, now 30 minutes into last night's debate, Trump was critical of Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen, basically saying that Yellen and the Fed are playing politics by keeping rates low. He said this before. Do you agree?
I don't agree. I think Janet Yellen and the Federal Reserve are doing what they believe to be the correct thing. I think it's a very difficult time to be a central bank right now. The communication and other aspects of the role needs to be improved. But I don't think this is a case of them playing politics like any other central bank, if I'm perfectly honest. I think they want to take it easy. They don't want to rush raising interest rates, even if they think it's the right decision to do so, because they don't want to risk cutting off any economic growth that we are seeing in the economy at a time when the global economy isn't really strong enough to support it if a mistake is made. So I don't think they're playing politics. I think they're doing what they think is right, and I think Trump is just using this as another thing to beat Hillary Clinton with.
Well, because there's an argument that not raising rates means that the economy isn't strong enough, and that certainly, that signal doesn't help the party in power.
Of course it doesn't, but it's always going to be the opposition party that's going to make these claims that the central bank is doing something to help the other, because they want to draw attention away from any good that the other party is actually doing. This is just all part of the election process. Like you say, we look at what the Federal Reserve is doing right now, and if anything, people are being more critical that it's looking to raise rates, and we're talking now economists, market commentators.
Right.
You've got some people who believe that they should raise rates very gradually, and you've got others that believe they shouldn't be raising rates at all. So I don't really think Donald Trump has as much of a leg to stand on here.
All right, Craig Erlam with Oanda, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm Scott Gamm, and you're watching The Street.